Welcome. Welcome to our success stories here from our webinar studios in sunny Florida. Well, not so sunny today. Hasn't stopped raining all day. But we're very excited to continue our success story series. We have only people that we admire, respect, and more important, are making a difference in the community. Because no matter how successful you are in life today, if you're not impacting the community in a positive way, you're doing nothing, in my point of view. It's Everybody needs help. Everybody can learn from your mistakes and your triumphs. And unless we learn from the people that have been there, are there now, and are looking for how they can grow, the best way is by learning from people that have been there. So today we have a friend, because Trish Carr has been a friend of our organization, the 100 Successful Women, for some time. We admire her. We appreciate her work in the community. She has worked in sales for years as a coach, team builder. She is also a tremendous uh, proponent of revolutionary results.
Yes.
No longer be average. You have got to be revolutionary, because if you be like everybody else, you're going to be exactly where everybody else is. So we can no longer be average. She is the author of the number one bestseller, It's Just a Conversation. And that is an incredible book to learn what to say and how to say it in business is key. You have got to know how to say it. She has been on stages with major global figures, like the author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul, Jack Canfield, tremendous gentleman. The author of also a gentleman from Shark Tank, Kevin Harrington, and the author of a tremendous still bestseller, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Sharon Lecker. And she's the co-founder of a global women organization, the Women's Prosperity Network. So I'm going to put it on your lap now to tell us your story.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alan. I really am so glad to be here. And let me just start with, first of all, thank you for inviting me. And thank you for everything you do in the community. You know, the one award that I keep
Oh, that's good.
right by my desk is the 100 Successful Women Award. I was so honored to be selected as a founding winner of
Yes,
the first
yes.
year. So I always keep that one right here. And I
You're
so
going on
appreciate
our
you.
Wall of Fame on the woman's website.
That's wonderful. Thank you
It's a
so
founder, and
much.
we appreciate you.
Well, we appreciate you because I think that we have so much in common. You know, when it comes to my story or the story of, the story of Women's Prosperity Network, right now in this time, I'm so reminded of when we began because Women's Prosperity Network was born in the beginning, the end of 2007, the beginning of 2008. And if all of you remember back then, that was the Great Recession.
Yes,
And it was a time where people were losing their jobs, where people were losing their homes in foreclosure, and where the stock market just totally tanked. And it's so reminiscent right now of what's happening. So when we began, and I'm I'm so happy that I began it as a co-founder with my two sisters.
incredible.
I know, I get to, and I love them. I love
Yes.
working with my sisters. So we wanted to create a sisterhood. And over the last 12, going into 13 years now, we have a global sisterhood, really a movement of people. And I have to say people, not just women, coming together, because we always include men in most of our events. And it's people coming together, people who are know that they have talent and know that they have gifts. And they either learn how to turn those talents and gifts into their business so they can have the freedom that they want in their life, or they've already started their business, and no matter where they are in their business, they want to continue to grow, because the underlying factor is not necessarily about money. And while I like money, it feeds me, puts a good roof over my head, it's more about being able to do what I want to do and make the difference I want to make, right? So I came out of corporate America and I worked in telecommunications. So I grew up in AT&T, or many variations of AT&T. And even then, I always wanted to feel as if I was doing something that was significant. It wasn't just that I was pushing paper or pressing a button, but I always had to connect it with, what does this function do to make somebody's life better? So when we created WPN, Women's Prosperity Network, back in 2008, it was a tough time, right? People didn't
I
have
remember.
money,
I remember.
right? The last thing people had was money. And here's what we heard over and over again. You're nuts. What are you, crazy, trying to start something new right now? Nobody has any money. People are worried about getting a new job. They're not rushing into getting their own businesses. But I knew inside of me that when I left my corporate job, which was in 1995, I left my corporate job and I became a small business owner, entrepreneur, and I did many different things. I went into network marketing. I became a real estate investor. So imagine what happened to me in 2008. Oy vey, I'm still paying off the IRS for what I owe them for foreclosures and all that stuff. But, that's all we heard was, oh, this is terrible. These are tough times. It's not going to get better for a long time. Heard that over and over and over again. And I'll tell you what, we created a bumper sticker that said, they're having a recession, but I refuse to participate. And the first place to refuse to participate is right here and right here. Because when you start listening, my husband and I are having a blast. When I was in college, I used to play drinking games, right? And one of the drinking games we used to play was, every time you hear a word, you take a shot, a particular word. Well, now what Dan and I are doing is we're watching TV, and every time I hear somebody say, in these difficult times are hard right now, people are suffering right now. Well, I get that, and I do realize there are people who are dealing with some extraordinary circumstances right now. I also know that the more you buy into that, the less likely you are to get out of it.
Absolutely.
So, it took us a while. It did take us a few years before we became profitable. So while we were creating Women's Prosperity Network as first a networking, connection, referral organization, now we've grown into training, workshops, mentoring, one-on-one connections. So now we're the whole, everything you would need to be served in your business and your life to have prosperity. That's what it's about. It took a while for us to get profitable. And that's going to happen again right now. Right now, whatever is going on for you out there, your businesses may not be making it's making. And the key is to pivot. The key is to see, okay, what's going on? What can I do differently? So while I was building Women's Prosperity Network, I looked for other opportunities. So I did some network marketing things. By the way, those network marketing companies that I did decide to choose, to this day, I still get a check for the work that I did in 2008 and 2009. And I haven't done anything in that network marketing business.
Wow.
So I hear people say, oh, network marketing, multi-level marketing. Let me tell you, every business is multi-level marketing. You hire somebody to do the work, you get a piece of what they do. That's what the model is. So in this time, right now, it's what can I do? So that's one of the things that we're focusing on at WPN. We're focusing on having more ways to virtually connect. We've always been a virtual organization. We have local chapters where people get together in person all over the country and in different places around the world. And we've always had virtual connections for people who don't have that local. So we've stepped up even more our virtual games. So for a couple of years now, for example, we've been doing online networking. And we call it networking with a twist. It's about an hour and 15 minutes where people come together on Zoom. We've been using it all this
It's
time.
amazing. It's amazing.
It's
We're ahead
amazing.
of the game.
And luckily, all we had to do was just tell more people. As soon as people heard about it in this time, in this difficult times, right? People still want to connect. So we get together every third Tuesday of the month, and we do that twice on the third Tuesday. We do it at noon Eastern time and 7 p.m. Eastern time, because not everybody can make those times,
Exactly.
right? And you will actually meet people. We use the Zoom rooms where you go into separate rooms and you meet 5, 6 people, and you do that over the course of the hour and a half. You leave there with 15 new contacts. So that's one of the things that we're doing. So, it wasn't always easy, and it's not always easy, right? This is extraordinary, not easy. Things are changing. But here's the silver lining. There's so much we can do right now. So, for example, one of the things we specialize in is supporting people in creating their messaging and getting out into the world. And Al, you are a big proponent of this. You create at the Global Chamber, you offer all kinds of opportunities for people to get their message out. This being one for me, right?
Yes.
You also have pivoted, and you're doing webinars now so that you can still be supporting your community,
Absolutely.
right, with experts who can help them. So all of you can be doing this now. Speakers, some of the speakers that are out there, some of them you get paid, right? You get paid to come and speak, but now there's no in-person activities.
No.
So here's my suggestion, and I've done this with many of my clients, is who have you worked for in the past? Give them a call and offer to do something where they bring their team together, because right now companies are looking for ways to keep morale up, to keep team building up, and to keep their team connected. So what better way for them to do that than for you to come in and hold a seminar or hold a 15-minute talk or a 30-minute talk? And that's been an easy way for people to continue nurturing their relationships while they're serving their customers. So it's an easy way for you to get out there and to be able to get your message out even more. The other thing is, there's so many opportunities now. Social media is really the way you want to go. You want to have Instagram stories. You want to use Facebook Live. The key is, though, and Al knows this, the key is to keep it brief and to keep it pointed at what people need. So, it's so simple. You can do a 1 or 2 minute tip. So easy. And it's a simple process. Hi, it's Trish Carr from Women's Prosperity Network. Often people ask me this particular question, and here's a solution to that question. Be sure to go to my website at womensprosperityNetwork.com and find out more. Boom, 2 minutes. And when you do that consistently means every Tuesday or every Tuesday, Friday, or 3 times or twice a month, but just be out there often. It doesn't have to be every day.
It's too much every day, Trish.
It is
Way
too much. Agreed. I do Tuesday tips once a week. And then the other thing is, if you have any fear of getting on camera, which many people do, that's one of the greatest things that I work with people when they want to get their message out, is we deal with, how do I get through this confidence that I don't have? Just start with text. Like, be as consistent as I'm saying to do on Facebook Live, but first start with every Monday tips and just write the tip and make sure it's short so that people can see it without having to scroll too much, because we're all like this, right? Everybody's in a hurry and everybody just wants to get the info.
Even now that they have nothing to do, they're in a hurry.
I know. Well, there's a lot of nothing, Al. There's a lot of nothing. Every 5 minutes on my phone, somebody's sending me a funny video or a funny meme, and and really, to create relationships and keep them nurtured, you've got to respond to those things. You know, same thing with your LinkedIn profile, your Facebook profile. When somebody puts something up there, a like is not good enough. You've got to go in and say, great idea, or thank you for saying that, or write yesterday, I wrote a post. I like to just have fun on my pages as well, not just all business, right?
Oh, you can't.
You can't, because if you're all business, then all you sound like is you're selling, selling, selling,
Absolutely.
and people are not going to be interested in you. So I'll tell you the question. I like to post a question every once in a while. So yesterday I posted the question, what's the first thing you're going to do when we get back to normal? And I got over 150 comments in about an hour. And I answered every single comment because that shows people that I care. And that's really what it's about is, you know, people don't know you care until you show them that you care, right? Otherwise, it's all about you. I'll tell you the funniest one I ever posted where I got the most comments, I probably got 300 comments in an hour and a half, was, which way do you hang the toilet paper, over or under? I'm telling you, it was quite the controversy. It was.
That's a topic for conversation.
It was. I even had someone who went and got the original patent online to show this is the way you're supposed to do it.
Amazing.
I know. I
They will
know.
forget you easily.
No, they won't.
They won't
So
forget you.
to encourage you, the idea is to keep putting yourself out there. Now's the perfect time to make phone calls to your prospects, your clients, your former clients. Everybody's looking for the human touch. I can tell you that the number one answer I got yesterday when I asked, what would you like to do as soon as this is normal again, was hug people. Number one, without hands down, was hug people.
Yep.
So give people virtual hugs. You have lots of ways that you can do that.
Absolutely.
In fact, that's one of the things. We even created a page to make it easy to get to all of our virtual events. It's womensprosperitynetwork.com/virtual. And we do networking. We do happy hours where we literally get together and just get to know each other. We do masterminding that focuses on your business. And then the first thing we did was we created a program called Position Your Pivot. As soon as this happened, we knew this was not going to be a week, right? We all knew it. So we created a coaching program and we actually priced it based on what was happening. So you pay what you think you can afford, as little as $10 to be a part of the program. So
well, you've been a pioneer in this web-based communication, so you didn't have to pivot too much. You simply expanded what you've been doing for years, which a lot of people are just starting to become virtual, and it's horrible because they don't have a clue.
Right.
We've been rebuilding our platform, and that will be launched probably within about a week. But it's becoming everything we did in person, Trish, all the networking, all the expos, all the conventions, everything we did here and around the world, it's all going virtual. Because like you said, we don't know how long it's going to be. We don't know if it's going to be the end of this year or if it's going to last another 6 months. We have no clue.
Right.
But if we're not prepared to connect and empower and help people virtually, we wasted all the 13 years we spent doing it in person.
Exactly.
So you're an example and a leader in this virtual world, and people need to see what you're doing, learn from you, go to your activities because you already know how to do all this, and just watching you and listening to you, they're going to learn. They're going to learn. It's not an easy world. It's not.
No, and
but guess what?
It is what it is.
It is what it is. And if we don't adapt, I tell people, do not look for new clients. Contact your old clients. Contact people you have talked to about your company and build the relationships. Because if you have a solid relationship, they'll always be your client.
Yes.
And guess what? Most 90% of the people never ask for a referral.
I know. It's
Can you
crazy.
imagine?
I know.
They're
I
afraid.
know.
So you spend probably 10 times as much to find a new client than
Hmm.
you do to nurture the old ones.
Yeah. That was
Obviously, if you did a lousy job, they're not going to talk to you. But if you do a good
exactly.
job, you earned it.
Yeah. And that's one of the main points I really was so happy to hear you say when you did your sales training. You did a webinar on sales and sales. I mean, sales is sales is sales. And that's one of the things you finished with was let's talk about getting referrals from people. Who do you know, if you did you enjoy my service? What did my service give you what on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being high, how would you rate my service? Oh, you were a 10. Wonderful. Then who in your life would really benefit from having the same service? You don't have to, you ask it that
Not
way and
selling
people
anything.
appreciate it.
What we're doing is
Exactly.
helping people. And if I helped you
Exactly.
well, you're going to be happy to give me somebody else that I can help.
Exactly. Well, one of the things I'd love to share with the people who are with us today is you can maximize your virtual connections, whether you're creating the way for people to communicate with you or you're joining things like webinars or you're getting on other people's trainings. So when you go to womensprosperityNetwork.com/virtual, right there at the top, you'll see there's a link for you to get a little ebook on how to maximize those connections. Now is the time. In
Say
this
the website again.
women's, that's a plural, women's,
Yes.
WOMENS, prosperity network.com forward
Yes.
slash virtual takes you right to that page
Beautiful.
with all the virtual information and a little ebook to support you in being better at working in this new normal.
Yes, we're going to follow up with you so we can offer that ebook on our new website. That's a global website because that's a
Wonderful.
very important tool right now. And those
Wonderful.
tips that you're going to give them, it's going to save them time and
Yeah.
money from trying things that they don't know if they're going to work.
Yeah.
So right now we need to help people to minimize their expenses and maximize their exposure.
Absolutely. I
And we can do
love
it
that.
together, Trish.
That was tweetable right there. Minimize their expenses and maximize their exposure. Love that.
That's our world today. We have to help them. The budgets are down, and the need to promote your business is up more than ever.
Mhm.
And we're
Mhm.
going to help them, Trish. We're going to do it.
We are. And Al, the good news is that more than ever, people are paying attention to what's available on different social media
Yes,
platforms. So, but it also means that there's a lot of noise.
a
So
lot.
you've got to be able to stand out,
Selective.
right? You want to
Yeah.
fit in and stand out at the same time.
Yes, absolutely. So we need to
Yeah,
give them information that's going to be helpful. We're not here to sell. We're here to resolve their need. So if we do that well, they're going to want a product or service. But
right.
first, we have to help them, give them
Yeah,
information, tools.
yeah. One of woman in our community, she's a social media expert. Her name is Sherry Martin. And she says, you've got to be known before you're needed, right? Because
That's
unless you're selling
absolutely
an aspirin, people aren't going to be looking for you until they have a headache.
exactly.
But the idea is to avoid the headache. Us
That's the
offer products that
education.
avoid the headache. So the idea is to exactly. So you want to be in front of people with tips and strategies and showing them what you know so that when it happens, oh my gosh, I need an aspirin. I need to go to Al.
Yeah, because right now, there's everybody's on social media. But if you're not standing out as somebody that's going to help you, you're just another part of the noise out there.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
think
And
it's
and again, you want to mix it up. It's really important that you don't come across as a selling machine because then you alienate people. It's about being human, being yourself, being real, and sharing your expertise and what it is that you do to make a difference in the world for people.
I love it, Tricia. I think this is creating some new opportunities for people. It's going to make them better at what they do because if they're not changing, they're not going to survive. So
Mm-hmm.
this also, there is a big silver lining is I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to help more people, and I can grow more because my outreach is now international through the internet. So my opportunities are massive if I do the right things now.
Exactly. So my challenge to all of you is every time you hear someone on the news or someone on TV or someone you're talking to saying things are hard, it's never going to get back to normal, it's so tough now in these difficult times, I want you to notice it, call it out, and turn that phrase around to it's only difficult if you make it difficult. There's more opportunities than there ever were before. Every recession, every depression, even back to 1873, when we look at what happens, more millionaires are made in tough times than in good times.
Because people see
Now
the
is the
opportunity.
time. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm excited to work with you, Trish.
Me too, Al.
I know that we're going to help people. We're going to grow because we're learning. And the future looks very bright right now.
That's right. We're going to have to wear shades.
Yes, and every time somebody says something negative, have a drink.
Exactly. And it could be water, it could be
Yes,
iced
yes,
tea,
yes.
whatever it is. But the idea is to create an awareness around how much these
Exactly.
negative messages are getting in, because when they get in, they
They need to
keep
go
you
out.
down. So
They need
thanks
to
again
go
for
out.
having me. I so
Thank you,
appreciate
Trish. This
you.
is only the beginning of many great things to come from Trish, to our viewers, to our listeners, and to our network. That is people like Trish that are going to help people get through this and come out better. We appreciate you, Trish, and we wish you a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Al.
Take
Appreciate
care.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.